All right, in this video, we will be using the manual handheld control. So we are just walking up. We'll make sure we're e-stopped. Make sure we're e-stopped. In this manner, or in this case, we will be using the HMI plug and unit only to allow, I've plugged that in, only to allow this to operate. There is another way to do this that requires a jumper in another box, but this is the absolute fastest, easiest way to do this. So to use the manual handheld remote there, we will still plug in the HMI remote. We're still e-stopped. We will then come down to the HMI remote. From there, cables are labeled 1 through 8, 9 through 16. 1 through 8 is labeled 1 through 8. So we will line up the connector, twisting, lock into place. 9 through 16, once again, line up your connector, plug that in, twisting, you'll hear a lock. From there, we'll be grabbing the key that is connected to the box. Each one of these keys are connected to the units. We will then turn the key on, unplugging the key after it is on. Okay, key is now on. We've dropped the key down. We'll now power the system up. So we'll be coming down to control 1, which is the 20 amp breaker again. Flipping the 20 amp breaker on. Coming to power 1 feed. Flipping the disconnect on. Make our way all the way back down to power 1 main panel. Here, we'll be flipping this on. From there, we reset, e-stop, reset, e-stop. And then this e-stop should have already also been set. We'll reset this e-stop. And then from there, your reset lights will all come back on. Across the way, that one is on. We will then reset the e-stops, or the lights for the e-stops. Okay, we've reset the e-stops, pushed the light in to reset the light, so everything's fully reset. You'll see that nothing is lit up here. We will double check first that all of these are in the middle. We do not want any of these in the up position, moving the motors up, or the down position, moving the motors down. We will then hit the kill button. The kill button will engage the motor motion system at that point. This is manual control. So this is the same thing as the HMI on the manual side. As long as you're hitting the go button, the motors will be moving of whatever motors were selected. These motors are set up in groups of 2. So to move the motor, you will be going up and up. So both motors are engaged. From there, you'll hit the go button. At that point, you need to have a spotter on the ground or a spotter in the air, depending upon which way you're going, from whatever position the array may already be in. If you're looking to go down, you will be selecting down for that array. Spotter on the ground, ready for the motor to move, and at that point you will bump the go button. Same function as what we already discussed in the HMI controller, making sure that both motors are moving. They moved level to themselves. From there you will select the go down. In the end, once the motors have stopped, they may not stop in a totally level fashion, because the motors have different weight loads on them, and there's no particular stopping function to that, like on the HMI controller that's got limits set to it. So those limits are stopping those motors. These do not. So in the end, you will have to re-eyeball or re-level those motors back out. Once you are done moving those motors, you can see that we're still engaged here. Once you're done moving those motors, you will put those motors back into the mid position where nothing is selected, and then hit the kill button. Okay, we have finished. So at this point, we would turn the key off, unplug the key. Even with the system being turned off, we do not recommend leaving this unattended. So from there, we would power down unless you're going to have somebody in the area attending to this unit. So from here, we would come back and e-stop, 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 turn power 1 off, make our way down to power 1 main disconnect, power down, power 1 disconnect, come back to control breaker 20, flipping breaker 20 off, making sure the door is shut. Then from here, we would come back and disconnect our multi-pins by, again, just twisting, pulling out, and then disconnecting the HMI. From there, we could leave the HMI plug unplugged or plug the HMI plug back in, as we discussed in prior videos.